Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is the man without fear. It's Frank. How are you today?
I did not see us talking about a new season of this
Oh,
show. I
blind
thought
jokes.
those
We
days
started
were
with blind
behind
jokes.
us.
Yeah.
I wasn't going for that, but sure. Yeah,
You didn't
sure.
read it with your fingers, Frank. That's like, yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
you
But
didn't.
I just, didn't have that in my didn't have that in my deck, but you know what? I am happy that we're here talking about it. So,
Me too. I
yeah,
am too.
excited to get into it with you.
Me too. Frank, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking
Clarion, perhaps, to be like Wilson, a Chianti.
hmm, no. No, I
Oh,
wish I
okay, great.
could.
All right,
Wish
all
I could
right.
say, but no. I'm drinking a Smutty Nose Old Brown Dog American Brown Ale.
So you are being like Wilson. You are. He is a smutty nosed
I guess
dog.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So from a certain point of view, and I'm enjoying it out of this Statue of Liberty mug, uh, beer mug that I was gifted for the centennial celebration of the Statue of Liberty
Awesome. Very good.
in 1986, and it says
Gifted it before you were born. Very good.
keep the torch lit. Yes, this is older than I am
Yeah.
by a couple of years. And yeah, it's got this nice embossed Statue of Liberty, carved on the front, and it's not, I just felt like some glassware. Grabbed it off the shelf because I
Honestly,
felt
I
like
don't hate it. I
mhm.
kinda like it. It one reminds me of the Batman Forever McDonald's glasses.
Yes,
Um,
totally with you.
has that vibe going on, but
Yes,
Statue of Liberty. Also, talking about Daredevil, New York, what's more quintessential New York than the
that's
Statue of
right.
Liberty? Something given by another country.
There
You
you
know,
go.
yeah. America
Yep.
in general, given by another country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, speaking of other countries, I'm drinking an imported beer. Uh,
Ooh.
I'm still on my Adora Dam,
Ah,
uh,
yes.
kick over here, but I got the red for Daredevil, so,
Nice.
I'm in it
That's
to
right.
win it,
That's
as they
right.
say.
Yeah.
Um, but it's 100% natural ingredients, it's international award-winning beer, and it's crafted to remove the gluten.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Love it. So what's is this one? What style of beer is this one?
It's a lager. It's the same one that
It's the same
I've
lager.
had the
Okay.
past couple of episodes. I can't even remember now. It's all a big blur.
It's all a
Um
blur.
It's a blur, but I saved them specifically for the show because I know I'm gonna enjoy talking to you, and I know I'm gonna enjoy drinking this beer. So, to me, it all works out. It all comes out, and it doesn't come out in the wash because I'm not taking the beer into the washing machine with me.
No, that'd be weird,
I love getting in the washing machine.
but I'm with you in general.
Yeah.
I'm with you in
Mhm.
spirit. You know.
That's good. And with yours, Frank,
Oh, thank you.
what's, what is your, so let's talk Daredevil. Did you
Yes.
this is technically season 4, Daredevil Born Again. It's season 1 for, truly being connected to the MCU,
Mhm.
um, on Disney Plus, but technically it's continuation of the previous
The
3
Netflix
seasons plus
series.
the Defenders on, Netflix. Did you like the original series? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
We talked about it on the show back in the day, which is why I'm like, so, I thought those days were behind us, man. That show was over,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, that's it. I had a love-hate relationship with the original show. There were um I enjoyed season 2 much more than I enjoyed season 1, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's an
I remember that.
unpopular opinion to
It
say.
is. Yeah, it is. But it was just I don't know, more of what I like. It wasn't season 2. But I not to say I didn't like season 1. But yeah, I had sort of there's things about it I like. There's things about it that sort of I struggle with like anti-hero stuff sometimes, you know this about me, and
Yep.
I didn't even watch Punisher for that reason. I was like, I'm not even gonna get into it. I
Mhm.
I can't. I just can't do it. But no, but there was a lot that I do love about this show. The characters I love about this show. So I was excited when I heard that it was coming back, and then forgot about it for a few months, and then it dropped, and I was like, oh, that's right, that was gonna happen.
Don't you love when things just drop and you're like, "Oh, man, we're back in it. That's great."
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel about Doctor Who right now. I kinda, like,
Ah,
forgot about
yeah.
it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's back. Awesome." I'm so happy.
I love it.
Things
I love hearing you this happy about
yeah.
Doctor Who. Just oh,
It's been yeah, I watched the Christmas special to catch up, which was very good, and then
yeah.
I watched the first episode, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and I'm which means that the first season wasn't really a fluke for me, that I'm just kinda like,
Right. Like, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in it.
that's right.
I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah, I was actually watching it on I was watching it, uh, in our living room, and somebody said something like, blah, 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 like, "Oh, you're just a doctor?" And my wife was kinda, like, in and out, and she was like, "Oh, is that a Doctor Who reference?" And I remember like, because it is Doctor Who." Like, it's oh, okay. Well, at least I got it was a Doctor Who
Okay,
reference,
yeah, she
right?
was on the
Yeah,
ball there.
she is. Um, so you had a love-hate relationship with Daredevil. I loved it kinda straight through. I
Mhm,
also liked the 2nd season of the Netflix show, but
mhm,
it also had stuff that I like. I like when Daredevil leans into the ninja, and
yeah,
so I like that side of the character. Um, I don't struggle with antiheroes, but they're just not I'm just not as interested in them,
mhm,
the way that I gravitate towards more classical, "I'm not going to kill you" heroes.
yeah,
But what I liked about season 4 is that there's this real struggle for Matt between being the hero and the anti-hero,
yeah,
as opposed to just flat out being a terrible. Um,
yes,
yeah, and I really liked that. I think it wasn't, it didn't shy away from maybe more complex feelings that you would maybe associate with the MCU, that they're kinda like
yeah,
they can, like, skirt over complex feelings, in favor of the next big, beam in the sky. Not
sure.
all the time, certainly, they're that's not all the time, but, you know, they're supposed to be accessible for
Yeah,
everybody,
that's right,
yeah, and Daredevil is certainly not for everybody,
right.
which I don't want all the time, but I do appreciate when it does come my way.
Yes, agreed, agreed.
Um, do you wanna just talk spoilers, from here on out? We both established that we liked it, and
Yeah, we both established that we liked it, you know, if you yeah, I think to talk about much else, yeah, we're gonna need to spoil it, so let's go there.
okay. Um,
We're
I
in the
wanna
spoiler zone.
I wanna keep talking about I wanna keep talking about Matt and his
Yes.
journey. I saw recently an article that was like season sorry to say that season 1 through 3 already proved that Matt can't help but be Daredevil. We didn't need
Mm,
to see it again. I disagree. And I at first I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." I guess they kinda do like, "Oh, will he be Daredevil again? We
mm,
don't know." But isn't that just being human? Like, won't we just do the thing
yeah,
again that we know isn't good for us, but we just do it again anyway?
'cause,
Like,
like, it's
clean your
different this
ears with
time, right?
Q-tips or whatever, like, you're not supposed to. Um,
We're always gonna use the Q it's oh, like yeah, sorry, like, you can't tell me the Q-tip's not meant to that's literally what everyone uses it for, you can't
that's correct,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I use it to clean the windowsill, get into the little spots over there.
Sure. Oh, I mean, there are plenty
Yeah.
other uses for them as well, but, you know,
But they're for your ears, let's be
they're
serious.
for your ears, come on.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually liked that about the show, not the game, because it didn't feel like it was retreading ground to me, especially since it was juxtaposed against Wilson Fisk, who was
Yeah.
also like, "I love New York, and
Mm.
I'm gonna be good?" Question mark.
Mhm.
Um, and I really liked the juxtaposition between, like, the more they became their previous selves, the more they became like Matt's like got his life together. People are enjoying his company and all this stuff. And like the more he like gravitates towards being Daredevil again,
Mhm.
the less
Mhm.
reliable he is, and he starts lying again and all this stuff. And like typically all the behavior you would associate with somebody who's really screwing up their life, and yet here we are, he's saving lives, right?
Yep.
Arguably.
Yep.
And then you have Wilson who's lost weight and he's doing good and he's happy and he's trying to work for people. But ultimately we know that's also a sham where he's been
Mm.
sneaking the meals and and making the suits rip and all of this stuff. And I just really liked the in some ways it was a weird body shaming thing, but like, sorry, Wilson, in order to be the kingpin, you gotta be you gotta be fat like a king.
Yeah.
You have to be puffy. And I did kinda I liked that, um, if Matt's look is, recognizable look is to be in the Daredevil costume,
Mhm.
then Wilson's is to be large and in charge.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I appreciated that very much, very much.
They really, they really went for it with Wilson Fisk this season. I feel like there was a lot of I feel like they did especially towards the end of the season, They used him as a device for commentary in a very interesting way.
I mean,
Um,
I thought really since the first episode, he was a device for commentary, unknowing to them, which I thought was more fascinating than anything. The show was made, the show was made before, our current place in America, where we find ourselves in America right now, and I think they were like, "Oh, it'll retroactively be funny."
mm,
And they're
mm,
like, "It'll
mm,
be actively not funny."
mhm.
Um, but, um but in some ways that also inspires hope and whatever else, like,
For
it's
sure, yes.
yeah. I'd say it's not subtle about its commentary, but I also don't care.
It's not, it's not, and I feel like it gets less subtle as the season goes on.
True.
Um, but, um, but they took it to some very interesting places. D'Onofrio continues to just absolutely, like, kill it and bring everything to that role, sometimes
This
literally
Yeah,
kill it.
there's something about when he tries to smile and he has this weird grimace that comes out.
Yeah.
It's the most unsettling thing I watch on television. It reminds me every time of that really awkward scene in the last Harry Potter movie where Voldemort hugs Draco Malfoy, and
Mm.
you're like, that shouldn't happen. It doesn't feel right. It looks icky. It's uncomfortable for everyone, and that's, like, every time he smiles, that's what's happening.
Don't like it. Don't
Mhm.
like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like it,
It's
don't
so strange. It's so
yeah,
bizarre.
but I that's such a great acting choice
Yeah,
from him,
yeah.
that he he is a smooth customer,
Mhm.
but only so far.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Because it's he's a smooth customer, but what he lacks in smoothness, he makes up for with intimidation. Right? So, like,
right,
where the smoothness ends, when it will only get him so far, the intimidation takes him the rest of the way.
right.
So he's not
What I
that charming when he smiles, but I'm scared crapless of him.
And what I also like is that when the intimidation fails this season, how far he goes. Like, because we've never seen Wilson go this far before. We
That's
have
right.
in the comics. This is, it's pulling from some really good recent comic stories, actually.
Cool.
Um, but like when he l- literally crushes and like tears
Uh,
apart the police commissioner's head. You've never seen him do anything like
no.
that before.
I
It was like,
remember
yeah,
the car door was, like, the
that's what I
big
was just gonna
thing?
say, yeah, the
Yeah.
car door, yeah, but that was insulated in a lot of ways in his crime community.
Mhm.
This is a much bigger, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
it has much bigger implications. Here's the active police commissioner that
Mhm.
you straight up murdered with your bare hands, but not even just murdered,
In
but
front of a bunch of police.
police, yeah, like, you're just expecting Sylvester Stallone to come in and be like, "I am the law." Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what has transpired. It's just great. Speaking of the police, I loved their use of the Punisher skull to mirror, like, people who
Yeah.
use it in real life
Yeah.
and whatever else, but then, like, to take it a step further, be like, "Frank, we love you, what you do," and he's like, "I hate all of you.
Yes.
You're all the worst." Yeah,
This was the most I've ever enjoyed Punisher.
truly, truly. Yeah,
Yeah. No, true. I mean, really, I think it was. I really appreciated the character and the way he was used here,
mhm.
which is not a thing I say very often. So I was, hey, take it.
Yep,
If, whoever out there cares deeply about what I think about the Punisher, which I'm sure is many of you,
mhm.
um, here you go. This is it.
I actually like the Punisher quite a bit, but I think that's because I have an attachment to him because of Spider-Man, the animated series.
Okay. Yeah.
When he showed up, when he really was an anti-hero, he was just a dude with laser guns, you know?
Interesting. I'm like, how do you use him in a Saturday morning cartoon? Okay.
Laser
Okay.
guns.
Yeah. Laser guns will do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was, like, hunting was he hunting Blade or was he hunting Morbius or something like that? So he
Okay.
was, like, laser guns, but he was also just straight up a vampire hunter or something like that, so it was, like, a little different.
I guess he was big in the comics at the time, so it made sense to wanna have
Huge.
some supporting.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I'm thinking about the time frame
Huge.
now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What did you think about, the killing off Foggy? Slash, do you think Foggy's still alive?
I hope they don't do one of those.
Has happened.
I
That
know.
Foggy has faked his death many a times in the
Uh,
comics.
I thought it was done so, like, poignantly and used like it wasn't for nothing. Bringing Karen back at the end was also big for me, because I was kind of disappointed. Like, oh, okay, so is this just going to be a sort of she's here for the first 2 or 3 episodes and then she's gone?
Mhm.
Um, but it was nice that they tied that up.
I
Um,
can actually clarify that for a second. So what I had learned is because of this show went over they did some massive rewrites and reshoots.
oh, interesting.
And so, like, huge, like, they had filmed a good portion of the show, and they were like, "No, we have to rework this. We have to retool. We have to redo
Oh,
this." So, but from what I have gathered is that they added 2 episodes, which reshaped the course of the show,
sure.
and those 2 episodes were the first episode and the last episode,
Ooh,
which
interesting.
explains the absence of Karen
Yes,
Foggy,
right.
from the show. So they basically showed instead of told that story,
Uh-huh.
in the first episode, and then the further implications of it as it went on by the time you got to which also includes her return in
Yes.
the last episode.
Oh, fascinating.
Yep. But apparently so I guess the rest of it was not necessarily untouched, but it was much easier to clean up after that.
Interesting.
And so,
Huh.
so they to reconnect it because it was basically supposed to be a fresh start and not be connected to Netflix at all.
Uh-huh.
And so those are the episodes and how they worked are really what tied them all together.
I
So if
see.
you like think about Matt's new law office and like
Mhm.
all of this stuff, like it just doesn't reference seasons 1 through 3 at all.
Hmm.
Like if you think of the majority of the show, it just doesn't.
Does he not talk about Foggy being dead,
He
at
does.
all?
He does.
Okay, I thought he did.
He does, 'cause he's got the prayer card,
Oh,
and
sure, that's right. Yes,
his
yeah.
girlfriend is like, "Well, you do that, do you?" And he's like, "Yeah, get off my back."
Yeah, that's right.
And so, but I think it was it happened off camera in the past, we never saw it, like,
Wow.
because yeah,
That would be so unsatisfying.
so unsatisfying, I agree. Like, and, like, you could start shows with somebody who is already dead, but not a character that you've spent 3 seasons with.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
hard to
the
just
point
do
is
that,
that we
yeah.
weren't originally supposed to have spent 3 seasons with them. It was a reboot
Right, right.
and
But
Born Again and, but, it's like when they reused, you know, Pat Hingle and Michael Gough in Batman Forever. Like,
right.
yeah, it's a soft reboot, but,
It's fuzzy,
we'll keep these guys
like
around.
yeah.
It's a brand new James Bond. Daniel Craig's amazing. Judi Dench is back. Like,
Right,
but
exactly,
it's a
yes.
brand new Bond.
Great,
Yeah.
great, yes.
Yeah, it's the
Good, that's
same
a
thing.
great
Yeah,
example. It
yeah,
is.
they're
It is.
too good to guess. We just keep them in here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, yeah, so, but you would never know like that, that's just why when people freak out about reshoots and whatever else, like, most of the time they are for the better. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
like a
they exist.
super well done example of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I yeah, I'm amazed. I'm sure, yeah, like you said, they did some o other editing throughout the rest of the series to make things really go together, but, like,
yeah,
whatever they did a great job with it because it
mhm,
really I think it was a great season of television. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well put together and yeah, one of the things that I always, um, liked about the first run of the show, but I think it didn't spend a lot of time doing was, a lot of the symbolism around, like, Matt's faith and, like, how that impacts him. They were very, like there was a lot of like, church-related imagery very early and very, like, like, uh
incorrectly, I need to add in there.
yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it wasn't just some random nonsense that gets thrown around and you're like, "Yeah, it's close enough," or
Right. Things
whatever,
were used
people won't
right
notice. Yeah.
things that were used, as symbolic of their actual meaning and,
Mhm.
and in the right context and all that kinda stuff.
Yeah, I
Imagery and
appreciate that.
music and stuff that was used, yeah.
Exactly, and I appreciate that kind of research,
Yeah.
it's like the difference between, like, this like that and then, like, the use of, like, Ave Maria in the Batman, and
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
you're like, "It could have been any song."
Right.
Like, why is it that song?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's really an odd choice because it has no symbolic meaning to anything that's happening
Right,
at
right,
all. It's just an old well-known song that
right.
anything could have been used. Um, but I did not find that the case here,
Mhm.
where it was really thoroughly thought out, almost to the extent that I would say that Midnight Mass was thought out.
Mm.
If you've ever seen,
I I
Midnight Mass?
I didn't watch it, but I
I do recommend, it's
yeah.
really good, but it is, like, it's so well researched in
Mm.
terms of, like, what like, in using their faith correctly and then expressing something real with that, and obviously, that's not the focus of Daredevil,
No,
but you can't drop it.
it's a
It's
big component of his character, I feel like.
right. It would be like, it's like you don't drop that Magneto is an Auschwitz survivor.
Yeah, exactly,
It's just a
exactly.
part of
Yeah,
his character now.
it's
Like
integral now, yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
right. It
Mhm,
wasn't in the '60s or the '70s, but by the time you hit the '80s, that was part of his character. You can't
mhm,
drop it. It's
mhm.
yeah, it's too important to his motivation.
Yeah, it's
So,
just it's one of those things that
it's like the equivalent of saying, like, "Oh, we're just never gonna mention the fact that Batman's parents died, or
yeah,
that Superman's planet blew up,
yeah,
or that Uncle Ben was murdered," or like
yeah,
any like,
yeah.
they're integral to their characters. You don't have
Mhm,
to origin story it the whole time, but it informs how they make decisions, and, um but I liked that they also did that with Wilson and
mhm,
Vanessa,
mhm,
because
mhm,
he's really the reason that he makes the decisions that he makes, and so their linkedness, in this show is the equivalent of Matt's faith, I think.
mhm. I think that's right, yeah, yeah. That's what motivates them in the same way that his
Yeah.
faith motivates him.
And now that I think about it as far as reshoots, I'm pretty sure they had originally recast Vanessa, and
Oh,
so all of her scenes were part of the reshoots. I don't
that's
know why. Maybe it was a scheduling conflict, or
that
I'm
would make
not actually
sense.
sure what the reason is, but I'm glad that she's back because
Yeah.
yeah, she's half the like, yeah, she's
Half the
half
chemistry, right?
the
Like,
chemistry. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Um, yeah, I didn't find that this show. There was never a moment in this show where I was like, "No, that didn't work," or "I didn't like that."
No, not really. Like, this really kinda held together for me. The story held together, there wasn't a lot of there was a lot of showing, not telling,
Mhm,
which I always appreciate. The even the supporting characters, like Hector Ayala, like,
mm,
were very compelling.
yep,
His was it his niece who, like, was,
I think so. Yep.
like, another compelling character. Um, the, Fisk's, like, new communications director, that
Oh,
guy,
yeah. Yeah,
like
Mini Fisk.
yeah, Mini
Yeah.
Fisk, like, what an interesting sort of, like, tale of somebody who, like, comes in wanting to be corrupted. Like, "Oh, please, I wanna do anything, please. I just wanna play in the big leagues, like, whatever it takes.
Mhm.
Take me under your wing.
Yeah.
I'll do anything."
I honestly, I can't wait to see where that goes.
Yeah,
Um,
he's gonna be a very interesting character.
Also New Wesley, whatever whatever the British guy,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because there's something obviously fishy about him, but
Yes.
he's like, "I pulled you from the thing where you used to do," and I'm like, "Well, let's talk more about that."
Can we yeah, please
Yeah, 'cause
elaborate.
elaborate, 'cause I think are you somebody that I'm supposed to know?
Right.
Somebody I used
Mm.
to know.
Nice.
Uh, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there like I said, there really wasn't anything and what I also appreciated is that it did not require me to go back and watch seasons 1 through 3.
No, it didn't.
Nope. There's some stuff, like, if you didn't remember that, like, Fisk murdered Ben Urich, that when he meets
Yes.
Phoebe, that
Right.
name like, the name won't mean anything to you, but it also just, like, slides away.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I say the BB stuff, like, she was a great character, but the little cut-ins of segments from her show
Mhm.
were so good, so real, like, New York, like, they felt so real to me
Yep.
yeah, in just a very, like, tangible way, like, "Oh, these are clearly, like, very good improvisers who are New Yorkers."
Mhm.
Um, and, like, just very natural in the way that they spoke and behaved, and it just felt like a real something I would see for real on TV when I lived in New York, and it's just, Yeah, those were some of my favorite moments in the whole show. For completely unrelated reasons, but just for my own pleasure. It was this was so fun for me.
That's great. I'm glad you have that perspective because, as a native New Yorker, like, does it feel like is it New York? Is it New York? Does it feel like New York?
Yeah.
Is it New York? Um, I really wanted that guy from Spider-Man to show up and go, "He stinks and I don't like him." I
Yeah.
would have liked that guy
Oh,
to
that
show up
guy.
at one point.
Uh,
What about, Muse? We had this, like, side B character, Muse. I feel like this is a spoiler, probably a spoiler. I said that apparently Muse is a multi-arc villain is what or, like, a multi-season villain or something like that, so, like, it's the last I've seen of you kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting indeed. Um,
Huh.
but, I liked it. I it was just the right level of gritty, realistic, creepy, but also comic book
Yeah.
that Daredevil is really known for. Um it doesn't move itself it doesn't remove itself too far from the real world. It's like just enough that it worked for me.
It was very disturbing.
Mhm.
I was not familiar with the character before this. So it was very disturbing and so interesting. Again, very compelling. Like and his scene in therapy with Heather when he's sort of revealing his identity to her uh was just like some of the creepiest stuff, like such a good scary performance by that actor.
I liked her performance in the show too
I liked
because
her a lot.
she's a pretty layered character. Like, because you could easily write her off as the girlfriend.
Oh
Um,
yeah, but
you know,
no.
but no, but she's so linked to their world without even knowing it, and that's what I find interesting. She has such strong ideas and that are not incorrect, but
Hmm.
they beat so close to truth that Matt backs away from so completely that their dynamic got really interesting as the
Yeah.
season went on. Um, so what I think I liked the most out of the whole show
Yeah, yeah.
is that there's a constant ramping, like there's a constant ascension in tension and climax, but I never felt like and it never felt like it was going off the rails at any
Yep.
moment. And it also felt like Matt was more capable of handling himself inside the MCU than previously. Like I think like his confidence as Daredevil um matches any MCU character that any hero that you would run across. It wasn't
Hmm.
like I was really hoping it wasn't going to devolve into a well, he's gotta learn to get his groove back kinda story. He's like, once he's in, and
Yeah.
still got it, and I really appreciated that.
Hmm.
Um, especially, like, early on with, like, his fight with Bullseye and then
Yeah, that's
with
right.
Muse and all this stuff, like, yeah, it's like he doesn't really miss a step, and he's still extraordinarily capable of taking a beating and walking away, so
Yes. Incredibly.
mhm. I liked the whole yeah, I just liked the whole thing. I'm not always bummed when a show ends, like, when, like, I'm like, "Well, that was good," and I'll
Hmm.
wait for the next one, but I this one was like, "Oh boy, here we go.
Mm.
Gonna give it to me now. I can't wait for next March." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I never say, "Can't wait for March."
Yeah.
Yeah, but now there's something to look forward to inside of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a great season. I'm glad it's back. I think it's better than it's ever been. Um,
I agree, I think it is I honestly, I think it's better than the first 3 seasons.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Which especially they were strong, in different respects
Oh
and
yeah.
in all way, even especially 3 was, like, really I felt really strong, but nope, this is what I wanted
Hmm.
across the board.
Hmm.
It's what I wanted.
It's like a fine tuned. They've had a few years to sort of look at what made that show great and
Mhm.
what could make it even better, and they did their homework and they did a great job.
Yep. Yep. It took me but before we go, like, Matt, in the MCU, it took me about half the episode in the one in the bank to be
Mhm.
like, "That's Miss Marvel's dad." That's like it
Oh, yeah. Well, the
like,
first
it
time yeah.
yeah,
When he said her name at the near the beginning, and that's when I was tipped off.
right, but it for some reason to me, it was like it was like I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's who that is," and then I was like, "Oh, no, wait, right, because the universe is I don't know why it just didn't click to me because like, it's not like we haven't seen Matt in the MCU before, he was on
Yeah.
She-Hulk and
Yeah, yeah.
whatever else, so kinda bummed that that doesn't get explored a little bit, but
Yeah. He was that was fun, though. That was super fun
mhm,
visit
yeah,
with him.
it was.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Frank, where can the people find us?
Head on over to beerwithgeeks.com. That's a great place to find all past episodes and the show notes will have links to things like the Batman Forever glasses from McDonald's in 1995. So check that out. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can, of course, rate and review us in places like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so forth. And patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio is how you can support us and help us keep making the show.
Frank, you know what those glasses were? The best glasses to come out in 1995.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they
Yes, they
were.
were the
Well,
best
until
glasses
next
of.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.